Welcome to the Montana Volleyball Press Conference. Going into week 4 here for the Grizzlies. Coming off a 6-match winning streak, another 3-0 weekend down in Terre Haute. It's the best, or the longest winning streak since 2006 for you guys. It's the best 20-set streak in total since 1992. So a lot of history has been being made on the court. We're going to start with head coach Allison Lawrence and just kind of take us through the last 2 weeks and the success the team has had.
Been a really fun 2 weeks. It's been a little bit of a whirlwind too. I feel like there's been matches that we've, you never prep for a match to like go 5, but you always assume things are going to be close. I think every opponent that we've played, we've prepped in ways where we knew it was going to come down to 2 points and it was going to be very close. It's preseason. You don't have a lot of information on everybody too. And so I don't know. I think this last weekend, especially, the 2-game day, Friday, where we went right into Butler pretty quickly after Indiana State, it's just a little bit surreal to kind of feel that much in control of those matches and those sets. There were a few close ones in Indiana State, but the way that Butler went, I think we're all just in a really good flow together. And I wasn't on the court, so I was sort of a part of that, but not really. So, but I could see that and feel that. And so, I think just unbelievable effort by the athletes to mentally prepare in the way they did, to execute in the way they did, and then capitalize when they all felt really in rhythm together to go put together a really complete weekend. So couldn't be more proud and impressed, and still kind of like reeling from it a little bit in a good way.
And Sydney, obviously the offense has been rolling, hitting over 300 in 4 of the last 6 matches. You hit 500 with 27 kills this weekend. What's kind of been the key to just the efficiency on offense?
I think just the team's ability to pass very well. It's really hard to run the middle if you're not passing well. So I think we've been passing super great, and we've been working a lot on forcing the middles kind of out of system and forcing it in uncomfortable situations. So I think doing that has really allowed me and also Gracie to just grow our game and grow our connection in that.
Sydney, when you look at the last 2 weeks, can you just describe it just from the player's perspective? Because obviously that opening tournament, you're playing really high-level teams, don't get a win there, but then 6 straight since. Just what's it been like to go on that run and maybe take some early lessons in non-conference?
It's just been really, I would say, confident booster. Obviously the first weekend, like you said, was not how we wanted it to go, but I think we could have went either continued to go downhill or we could have went uphill, and we've decided to go uphill. And I think that's like the best thing. And it's just continuing to grow our team and help our team build connections. And we just really love playing together. And so it's been such a joy and so much fun with everyone.
Gracie got player of the week. Can you mentioned her a little bit, but speak to just her impact and, obviously having such a big impact this past weekend as well.
Yeah, Gracie is one of a kind. She leads this team like no other, and having her on the court is such a presence, and she just is so calm and just such a, just steady person to have on the court, and she just knows how to get everyone the ball in a perfect spot. So I would say Gracie is pretty perfect.
Like it. Allison, when it comes to prepping for like some of these Midwest schools and schools that you don't really cross paths with probably a lot, or even common opponents, what's it like the prep for that? When you look at the Indiana States, the Butlers, just what's that prep like when you're looking at these teams, especially kind of in a condensed time period?
Yeah, I think, some of it is very similar to any kind of prep for any match, but I think these teams trying to get familiar with some offensive pieces that were a little different than we saw the weekend before. And then teams that are really used to winning. And I think you go out of your region and you kind of get into a gym that like the opponent is really used to winning, really used to success in certain ways. And so I think you're battling and you want to go into battle with not only who they are right now, but also the history of that program. And I think that's why you go to other regions. And you want to obviously beat teams that are beating teams. That's part of the RPI piece that you want. But I think they didn't know a lot about us. We're unfamiliar with them. So you don't have that sort of historical, like, we don't like this about them, or, all that nonsense. And so it's a little bit of a clean slate, and like a lot of just different narratives and storylines and different confidence pieces. So it was fun to kind of go in and, I assume, surprise people in some ways. Just they didn't, it was the same for them. But ultimately, like, the volleyball felt very similar to what we see in the Big Sky, and we knew it would be a battle like it is in conference. So I don't know. I think that question is as best as I can answer, just how we prepped, but really good teams, really fun to be somewhere new.
Overall, just being able to stack up wins in the non-conference season, like what do you think that can do in particular for this program moving forward?
Yes. I mean, I think every year, just our conference as coaches, we get together and we talk about how we're going to raise the stature of our conference as a group. And part of that is you kind of project where you think you're going to finish in conference, where you can finish in conference, and then you know how many wins you have to take into conference. And I think I like the group effort aspect of that because we want our conference to move up in terms of the rankings just generally, but also it's really hard to do. As we've talked about in previous press conferences, just how tricky scheduling is, and with where we are regionally, how tricky it is. So I think anytime, for me personally, I can put together a plan that I think will go a certain way and I hope will, and then it does, is really fun. And I think just for us, like, I learn every year what our team needs a little bit more and what works for us. And there's some risk involved. And there was this weekend with time changes and travel schedules and back-to-back matches. But ultimately, what we want to do is build momentum. And so this year, the fact that we can learn what we're learning about our group and build the momentum that we're building, I think that's just like when you hit that, it's just the launching pad into conference. And so I'm really happy. And it's a big puzzle. So for it to come together in that way feels really good.
I guess for both of you, like, there's obviously ebbs and flows to a season. Mm-hmm. You're not going to, win every match the rest of the year. So how do you do you enjoy the high, but then mm-hmm. know that, there's going to be ebbs and flows and mm-hmm. it's kind of just being consistent or however you approach it?
Yeah. I think it's been so fun early to get some reward for all of the sort of hard work and toil and everything that the team goes through in preseason and goes through in the off season. And so that feels really good. And I think we have to enjoy our victories in that way. And what I hope that instills is belief that we can be in any match for the remainder of our season. But what we need is exactly what your question is asking is just, we need failure as well. And so we have to look at all of these matches and we have to see moments of failure, moments of falling short, where we are stressed. That's why I love the Eastern Illinois match, just because that felt a lot different than the other two and felt stressful in different ways. And yeah, we need learning moments. And so I think we got a lot of those this weekend. Those are less of the talking points, when you come back from a weekend like that. But I think we have cataloged those well and the team knows those well. And that's going to be a huge part of our prep for this weekend. So you hope the momentum and belief stays. And then you're really honest with yourself when you look in the mirror about what our team is actually doing. And then we get to go behind closed doors and work on those things.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think it's super important to take away the kind of not negative, but the bad of sets or games and just take that into practice and run with it. I think it's the first weekend is kind of a learning experience. And so I think that continuing to have that same mindset throughout the rest of the season, that everything's a learning experience and we're going to continue to grow from each set, good or bad.
Coach, conference play is right around the corner after a quick trip to Washington, just after a slew of wins, some non-conference games under your belt. Just where do you think you stand in the conference?
Oh, gosh. As much as that is fun to project in a million different directions, I think that I kind of feel the same way about preseason polls. It's kind of like so uninformed that it doesn't really matter in my mind. It's fun to look across the conference and see what teams are doing and feel that pride for our conference having success and wanting us to be as strong of a group as possible. But ultimately, I feel like the pieces that we can put in place in terms of how we think about ourselves and what we know about ourselves are in place. And in my mind, that's going to position us to do well in every set and put ourselves in position to have swings for set points in all of our matches. Will we win all of them? Will we be in the middle, the top, I don't know. But I think we've learned enough to be in position to do those things. And I think that's all we need to know. And then, the stories that you get into with conference of just like, okay, this happens here in this gym and this band and this, it just gets way more fun. Obviously more stressful, but it just gets way more fun. And I think we're all looking forward to bringing our body of work into that, and then trusting that we're going to know who we are, on every match day, and then know who we need to be after that match. So yeah. Would you say anything else?
No.
Okay.
That was good.
Thank you guys.